Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good to see you guys.
Good.
It's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. This is the Saturday hashtag Shut Up Money show. I'm Justin Chamness with realestateWholeSalersClub.com. Today we've got a great treat. I've asked everybody in my VIP club that has questions to bring questions today because we have this gentleman right here, the Wizard of Data. You've probably never been called the Wizard of Data. This guy truly is a wizard. I'm telling you, like with this PropStream, there is nothing. I'm going to build you up really big here, Burton. There is nothing this man cannot do. Burton Alicando from PropStream is here with us. He's been here a few times, and I like to invite him in a couple times a year, and he has always been so gracious to say yes every single time. Gotta love his heart, gotta love his commitment, and not only to the business of PropStream, but to the customer of PropStream, and that's you and me. And he wants us to get the maximum benefit out of it, so he always brings the maximum value. We love you, Burton. Thanks for being here, dude. How are you today?
I'm extremely well, and I'm even better with that intro. So thank you so much, Justin, for having me and everybody investing your time right now and watching this. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I can clear some fog up or show you some new stuff that you may not have known about in PropStream.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. There some new things that are breaking or have recently broken in a good way that
Um,
that you want to demo for us today, because we do have questions, I believe.
yeah. So we did release a new quick list choice about 3 weeks ago. It's called our pre-probate list. Ultimately, what it is it's identifying any individual that's passed away and their name is still on a title of a property. So that's why we're calling it pre-probate. Now, granted, we don't know if they've initiated a probate yesterday, this morning. It's not live data, but the new list does identify a deceased name on a title of a property, and we'll let you take it from there.
That's awesome. Show it to us if you would. But I got a question here, real quick, for everybody in the Zoom room. Uh, how many of you in here? Everybody has their cameras off. That's the side effect of 8 a.m. on the West Coast. uh, Everybody's like, it's Saturday. I'm not turning this camera on. But how many in here have questions for Burton Alicando from PropStream? Anybody want to volunteer to be the first? Because I'd like to just pop off with that if we can. We're
Sure, I'll go first.
awesome.
Um,
Antonio, what's going on?
man, how you guys
Nick,
doing?
Nick is on deck.
I wanted to know about like zip codes. Um, in my market, I usually use the county. I was wondering, am I able to just use the zip code with that work just as well?
Yeah, you can. As a matter of fact, in PropStream, you can search up to 5 zip codes. So I don't know if you can see my screen right now, Antonio, but you would just what zip code are you in by chance?
I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so sometimes I'll use 28314,
There you go.
or
So
I'll
just type that
yeah.
in, and you'll see that recommendation, and so you'll have all just the results in that zip code. Only with zip code though, Antonio, you can search up to 5. So did you have like a second zip code you want me to type in?
28301.
Okay, so
Wow,
make sure you have it separated with commas and spaces. Okay, so 28, you
man,
said 301,
I
correct?
did not know
Yes,
that.
Okay,
yes.
so
That's
there
big.
you
I thought
go.
it was one at a time, y'all.
Yeah, no,
Let's
up to
go. Let's go.
5. You can do definitely up to 5. So 28314, comma space 28301. Let's do a third one. Do you have a third zip code that you'd like to give me just to practice?
Yeah, 28303.
There you go. So we have 3 zip codes in North Carolina. Just simply click on that, and you'll have the 3 zip code environment right here to your right hand side. From
Wow,
there,
that's
you just
awesome.
simply filter and call it a day.
Nice, nice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, great question. Yeah, a lot of people don't know we had the multiple zip code search, so I appreciate you asking that. It sounded simple, but it's not. Like that right there is a very powerful search, because if you know 5 hot zip codes, there you go. Rather than doing 5 separate searches, you can just put all 5 zip codes and just do that one search right off the bat.
Cool. That's tight. Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's a good question. I'm already learning. I'm already getting some good stuff. Nick, you're on deck. What's going on? Are you ready, Nick?
Yeah, yeah. Every time you're on, dude, you always have some really cool ways of finding like cash buyers or secret ways of doing that. Is there any new nifty things that came in the pipe with PropStream on like zoning in on cash buyers in specific areas or anything like that? And thanks
Not
for being here,
necessarily.
by the
Oh
way.
yeah, no problem, Nicholas. Thanks for your generosity, man. I appreciate you. Damn, Justin, you have like the best people ever, man. I really mean
Yeah.
that. Like they're so sincere, so nice, so patient.
If they're not, we just get rid of them. That's why.
The right, just kick out of the room. Nicholas, not necessarily. Nothing new. We still have the cash buyers list. We still have the flippers list. And I believe last time I showed you the numbers of properties owned filter, because that can help you find a buyer with multiple properties. But let me show you something that someone asked me the other day. He was like, "Hey, how do I find a hot market in my neighborhood?" And I'll show you this. Maybe this could help. So let's use Fayetteville as an example. Like I've never been to Fayetteville, so let's use that as an example today. So we're in Fayetteville, and let's say I'm on Antonio's team, and he's like, "Yo, Burton, we need to find the hottest zip codes in Fayetteville." Right? He knows 3, but he's like, "We need to find more." So here's how I would do it, Antonio, Nicholas. I would follow the money. So the first thing I would do in any market is once I populate that area, I usually search by a city or a county. So in this case, we'll search the city, and then I'll go into the filter, and I need to think like a buyer, right? So I want a cash buyer, not just any cash buyer, one who's buying maybe a residential single family property under, let's say, 5 bedrooms or less. We got that. So we already have specified the buyer we want. We want a single family buyer, 5 bedrooms or less. The next thing I want is the ownership info. I would like this buyer to have bought a property maybe this year, right? So I want an active buyer.
We need to see your screen, Burton.
Oh, you do? I'm so sorry. Thank you, LaShonda. Man, that would have been so silly. So let me repeat that. So we go back to Fayetteville, and let's say Tony was like, "Hey, find us the hottest zip codes." Here's how I would do that. Go to Fayetteville, and then go into filter, follow the cash buyers, right? So just click on cash buyers. And as I mentioned, add your property characteristics. So residential, single family, 5 bedrooms or less. So we're looking for cash buyers buying a single family, 5 bedrooms or less. Check, right? We now have specified the type of buyer we want. Now, in order to find the aggressive zip code, the aggressive buyers, I'm going to do 2 things. First thing I'm going to do is in ownership info, I'm going to look for a buyer who bought this year. So let's say May or April or January 1st of this year. So let's just start the beginning of the year. Okay. And then I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want just any buyer. I want an aggressive buyer. So I want someone who has at least like 3 properties or more under their name. Okay. So this could be an individual or corporate office. It doesn't matter. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a cash buyer in Fayetteville who's buying residential single family properties that have 5 bedrooms or less. And they bought a property this year on January 1st or later this year. And they also have 3 or more properties under their umbrella. I'll then hit close. And before I do anything else, because remember, the idea is to find a hot market. You see this little tab right here? I click on this tab, and it gives me what we call a spreadsheet view. So I don't even need to save anything to get it exported or to see it on an Excel sheet. But what I'm able to do here, again, what I did is filtered for Fayetteville cash buyers that bought a property this year. They have multiple properties. The next thing I do is I open this up and I break it down by zip code. So I just click on the zip code header right over here, and it organizes the zip code in numerical order. Then I get a piece of paper and a pen, and I look at the zip code with the most results. So 28301 had 1 to 15 cash buyers this year so far. 28303, we can go down. It has way more than the 28301. So write 28303 in there. And then you repeat the process. You just keep going. And what you're doing is you're following the zip code with the most transactions. So 28304 has several. 28305 doesn't have as much. 28306 goes on to the next page. Not so much. 28311 seems quite a bit. 28312, not so much. 28314 goes on to the next page. Okay, so 28314 is pretty big. 28314. So you see what I've done? All I told PropStream was, hey, show me where all the buyers are at this year, or show me all the buyers in Fayetteville this year that have multiple properties and they bought something this year. Great, there are 182 results. All I did next was hit the spreadsheet view and said, okay, break them up by zip code so I can see which zip code had the most transactions. And now that I have the 4 or 5 most popular zip codes, I hit clear all, and now I just search those zip codes. So 28301, 28303, 28304, 28314, and this is where I'm concentrating my search for distressed properties. So hopefully that helps, Nicholas. Not necessarily helping with finding buyers, but at least helping you with identifying a hot market in that area, and then hopefully landing something for a buyer there.
That was great, Burton. Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a way when that results come in that we can see like a heat map right there, what you're looking at, that would kind of show, like if it like, I don't even know if I'm even describing it right. Kind of like a red hot spot, or if it was yellow, it's not like.
Oh, great question. So that would probably be in our analytics growth. So like right now, show me all the buyers or show me all the zip codes that had all the most buyers. I would probably use price growth now. So now you have all these markers on the screen. Show me how this area grew in the last year. And then you can see where the concentration of growth is using the red indicator. So if it's like orange to red, those are some hot markets right now. So if I was to take a look at this, right here, it's starting to turn. You see how it's kind of like darker yellow, kind of orange?
Yeah.
This would be an area I would probably isolate my leads in if I was doing anything here. So I would probably look into this area, and another one I see is right up here, starting to kind of go from yellow to a lot of reds are popping up in this area. So that's just how I would utilize it. But just again, I don't even think we need to do that because these are already the 5 hot zip codes the buyers are already in. So even if we land a contract here, there's 15, 20, 30 buyers we found already this year in that neighborhood. So again, these are the zip codes where we had buyers with multiple properties that bought something this year so far.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
That's
Great
incredible.
question.
I have a question, Burton.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So I understand we're talking about distressed homes, but I'm just curious is there a way to find distressed vacant land and buyers as well? That?
Yes. So the only route that you'll have to take, you just have to take a slight turn right before everybody. It's when you search a market. What market are you in by chance?
Orlando, Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would search Orlando, Florida, and before you start anything, you're going to want to go into our filter, and then you can look for, again, a vacant land category. We have it right here. So you would just click vacant land, and it's just going to isolate all the vacant land in our database in Orlando for you. And then you just have to build on top of that. Like, hey, I want a vacant land where it's off market. So we go to MLS, make sure it's off market. Maybe it has a pre-foreclosure. So are there any in a default or an auction situation? So you can go after those if you like. Maybe a vacant land where it's an individual owner for a minimum of 15 years or more, and they live in a different state, perhaps, right? Like that could be the motivation, living in a different state, owning this plot of land for 15 years, you're not doing anything with it. Let's talk. But that's really the idea, is that you're going to choose vacant land here at the top first, and then you can kind of work your way down. Now, if you want vacant land cash buyers, you would just go to vacant land here, or actually you can just do cash buyers right here. And then property characteristics, choose vacant land in classification. So now you have all the cash buyers buying vacant land here on the right hand side. Okay. And then you can do the same thing I did earlier, which is cash buyers buying vacant land. And then you can specify, show me the one that bought something this year so far. And here are your 391 vacant land cash buying buyers.
Awesome.
He makes it look so easy. It's incredible. That's a question. That's the question I was going to ask too, Alou. So thanks for
beat you.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Victor's up. What's going on, Victor?
What's up, folks? Yeah, that was a great question, Alou. So I was going to ask the same thing as well. Hey, thanks, Burton, for showing up and showing out, man. Appreciate you.
Of course.
I have a technical question. On my front page, my main page of my screen, I have a, where it says pre-foreclosure, auctions, bank-owned, cash buyers, just on the main screen, right? You see right there where it says MLS, for some reason and somehow, I have changed that to a second pre-foreclosure heading. And I have no idea how to correct it.
Let me explain what you did first to cause that, and then I'll show you how to correct that. So I think what you did, Victor, is you kind of dove into I'm going to learn some of this advanced stuff with PropStream. So what you did was you went into a market.
He's guilty.
And well, no, that's good. I want to show you this because this could actually be very powerful if you know how to use it correctly. So the idea, what you did in theory was you searched an area, and then you applied your filter. So let's say your filter was pre-foreclosures that are off market with 30% in equity, right? So let's say this is like every time you're in Fayetteville or whatever your market is, this is your search. Pre-foreclosures off market with equity. So you did that first. You searched your market, applied your filter. And normally what a user's supposed to do is check off their results and just create that marketing list by hitting add to list.
Yeah.
However, some of our users that are new or they're trying something new out, they'll hit save search. So instead of adding to a marketing list, they'll save the search that was just performed. And so we'll click on that, and then they'll think, okay, we're building a list, so we're going to call it the pre-foreclosure. And then we'll add details. And then this is what you might have done by accident. You might have clicked on include on home screen and replace the MLS box. And in doing that, when you hit saved and okay, your pre-foreclosure box went away, or your MLS box went away. So now every time you log out and log back in, that MLS box is not there. However, it didn't really go anywhere. You essentially just pushed it aside. Where it's at right now is in the very last box, all searches.
It's $100 to get it back, Victor.
Yeah, exactly. You click on all searches and then scroll all the way down until you find the MLS one. You're going to highlight it and you're going to hit that plus sign on the left-hand side. And then you can select a spot to replace it. So you would just click on the first spot and then hit save. And there you go. Back to the MLS we go. All right. Now let me explain why this is powerful, okay? Let's say I'm an advanced user. I already know what I want. As a matter of fact, I don't ever use any of these boxes PropStream gives me. So here's what I want. Let's say, search in Riverside, California. And the 3 lists I like are liens that are off market with equity. Okay. I'm just going through like a situation of what an investor would do. So I like liens that are off market with equity. I'm going to save that search and call it liens off market. And then I'm going to replace the lien box because I don't ever use that. I'm going to use my lien. So lien box has been replaced. Great. I also need cash buyers too. So Riverside, cash buyers buying residential single family properties this year, right? Just like I showed you guys. After doing that, I also want to save that search. So cash buyers this year. And then I'm going to replace the cash buyers box. So the idea is that you don't have to use what's there. You can replace whatever you want. So that way, when you log out next time and log back in a week later, you don't have to hit the search bar again because you've saved your search. All you have to do is just log in and click on your box, cash buyers this year, and it reflects what you had in your previous search. That's why it's the saved search. So that way, I don't have to go in here every single time and apply this same criteria over and over and over again. I simply just click on that box and it shows me the 2,800 liens that are off market with equity that I asked for in our previous search. So what you did was the start of something advanced. You just might have gotten confused along the way. But in the event that you ever replace something, you're like, you know what? I need my cash buyers box back and I need my regular lien box back. I go into all searches. Those two are right here at the top because they're the newest ones created. But the old ones that were there are at the bottom. So I click on the lien, hit the plus sign, and replace my lien box I just created. And then we go back to liens. Cash buyers, same thing, all searches, highlight the original cash buyers, hit the plus sign, and then I can replace that custom cash buyers box I just did, and we're back to square one.
That is so dope. So you can basically set it up personalized to just search and or show the things that you're interested in, and then toggle back and forth between, you know, the generic, so to speak, and then exactly what you
There's actually two ways to do that. And you're right. You're absolutely right on what you just said. That's what it's designed for, so that I do the hard work now and I don't have to continue doing that again and again. But there's two ways to use this saved search. The first way was what I just showed you, Victor, where you search a market first and then you apply your criteria and then you save that search. That way, when I go to all searches and I click on that criteria, it pulls that specific search, Riverside, cash buyers, etc. That's the first way to use it. You search a market, apply your filter, and then you save that search for that market. The second way to use it is to not search a market. So what we'll do is we'll hit clear all first. We'll apply a filter. So let's say today's filter is tax delinquent that are off market, owned by an individual, and have 70% in equity, okay? So you notice how we haven't searched a market yet? We just said, hey, tax delinquent, off market, person owns it, 70% in equity. We then hit close. Now, nothing's happening because we haven't performed the search, and that's okay. What you just did was you created a blank filter, so now you can save that template, that blank filter. So I'm gonna call this my tax delinquent custom. And I'm going to replace high equity with my custom tax delinquent. And when I do that, nothing's happening. Why is that, Victor? How come nothing showed up? It's
because you haven't selected.
Exactly. I didn't put a market in, right? Now, our first search that we did, we searched a city, and then we added our filters, and then we saved that search. So when you search a city and save a search and click on that saved search, it ties in to that city that you search. What I just did now with the custom delinquent, I didn't add a city to it. I just said, hey, this box should just be tax, non or off market, individual, and 70%. Now that I've created my own blank box, I can now go from Fayetteville and it shows me just those results in Fayetteville. So now I can say, okay, I created a blank box, check them off, add to a list. Now let's go to Chicago. And what do you think that box is going to do? Just show me the tax delinquents in Chicago. We don't have anyone with 70% or more in that market. So let's go to Los Angeles, and et cetera, and et cetera. So what I just did was create another blank box like these other guys. That way, when you hit clear all, you notice how every one of these are 0. And the moment that you type in a city, it populates with the number associated to that city. That's what we just did here. We went into the filter and said, you know what? I just want to see pre-probate. Close it, save that search. We called it pre-probate. And we're going to replace our pre-foreclosure box and hit save.
That is so
right? So
dope.
now I can just go to these 3 zip codes right here that we were given, and
Yeah.
it just shows me the pre-probate.
Stop it.
So you can use these save searches to save a specific market and add a filter and then click on it, and it always populates that market with that filter. Or you can do what I just did here. Don't search a market, add your filter first. So cash buyers that bought this year, let's say January, with 10 properties or more. Close it, then save search it, cash buyers, multiple properties, and then we'll replace the original cash buyers box. Hit save, cash buyers with multiple. Now, whatever city I type, Boise, Idaho, for example, it shows me just the cash buyers with multiple properties.
So basically, you just set up templates. So that's
Your,
good.
your own,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah, that's good when you because I know like I have a VA, and so I set a few of them up and made it easy for her to be able to pull a list instead of going through all the filters.
Absolutely. So if you like have
Super
4
smart.
categories that you already want, and let's say you're in 5 different markets, but in every
Right.
market you want the same category. So again, in my first market, I want vacant, off market, out of state owners. And I'm working with a VA, right? I don't want to explain my VA. This is what you need to do all the time. So what I can do is I can create that blank template for her, vacant, off market, out of state owners, save that search, vacant, off market, and replace that first box MLS. Okay, so that's my first criteria. I want my VAs to search. The second criteria, pre-probate. The third criteria, I'm gonna hit clear all. I want my VAs to search failed listings that are off market still, owned by a person, and we're gonna hit close. So what I can do is I can pre-design my hand searches, if you will. And then once I hit save, now I hand the account over to my VA and I tell my VA, okay, look, I've already created these boxes for you. All I need you to do now is log in and I need you to search these 4 or 5 zip codes. Okay, then what? Then click on one of those boxes and save the list and do what you need to do with it. So that's why that's a powerful feature, is because they're not designed to a city. There's just crafted boxes. So when I hit now Miami, it shows me those 3 specific filters I applied in Miami. There's 584 vacant off market, 2,100 pre-probate, and 10,000 failed listings in this area. I didn't need to go into the filter and do all of that right then and there. If you do the hard work early, and that's the search that you always perform every single time, you're best just putting it in one of these boxes. And that way, whether you're in Miami or you decide, hey, Las Vegas is the day-to-day, then those boxes are already filtered for you and they'll just reflect your results instantaneously.
Dude, that is beyond badass.
That is badass. Like,
right. And I have friends that do that. Like I have buddies that have, like, they completely replace every one of these boxes with their own criteria. So they go in there and they just search a city and boom, all of these boxes already have their filters. And if you ever change your mind, they're all at the bottom. So put the MLS back to the first box, put the pre-foreclosure back to the second box. And so if you ever like change your mind or you want to cycle through another filter, that's all you need to do is just go down here and just replace everything back to its normal status. And you guys are good to go after that. So thank you, Victor, for asking that question, because it was a mistake that you made, but you see how that question now enlightened pretty much everybody in this audience. So I appreciate you for taking the stand and asking that great question.
For sure, man. That is just dope. I think I was on my way there one night around 2:30 in the morning, and it all just didn't come together.
Yeah, but I'm happy it worked. Everything happens for a reason. So you must have done that, so that question could have come up today. So that way I could have shown you what I showed you right now.
Yeah, man. Much appreciated.
Most definitely, brother. Most definitely.
Wow. Yeah, mind blown. You got your money's worth already. I don't know I don't know what y'all paid to be here, but yeah. It was cheap at twice the price. Yeah, we got a question or two here about List Automator, and I know that's going to be probably a pretty in-depth kind of thing, but I also want to talk.
Probably give you like a quick 5-minute run on that, but go ahead, Justin. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, perfect, dude. We just cut each other off here all the time, man. So sorry if I do that to you. Yeah. So I want to talk about flip comps too. Like really what the value of flip comps is for me, because I'm under the impression that it's really one of the coolest things going right now. And I'd like to hear more in depth about it from the wizard.
Let's go for it. So let's address the flip comp. So let's say I'm in Fayetteville, and in Fayetteville, we build this list of properties with a lien, or let's say a lien. They're off market. Let's make sure they're a residential single family property. Let's say 4 bedrooms or less. So liens, residential single family, off market, and let's make sure like it has equity, right? Let's actually make it like a solid list that we would actually go after and owned by a person. Okay, so there we go. So we have our lists, and Tyler Drive calls us, right? Hey, Burton, I got your postcard, I got your voicemail, or I called them and hey, I'm interested in buying real estate. Get them on the phone. So Wendell and I are on the phone. We're talking about the lien. We're talking about, you know, the failed listing they had recently. Now I'm going to run comps on the property. I'm going to make that offer on that property. Now, traditionally, we would go into comparables and you would be able to source county records, which is also known as public records, or MLS records, right? Or both. Now, before I go into that, let me explain a little brief history of why we came up with flip comps. Like 4 years ago, I used to do this little demo. I used to show people how to find flippers in the market. Like way before we had this flippers category, I used to show people this. I would say, hey, if you ever want to see flippers in Fayetteville, just create the data for that. And they're like, what are you talking about? Well, all you need to do is think like a buyer. So go to Fayetteville, look for cash buyers, and let's say buyers that bought in the last quarter of last year. So let's say from October to December of last year. So people be like, oh, okay, I get that. You're looking for buyers the last quarter. Exactly. Now, what does a buyer do if they want to flip it? They list it. So back in the day, I used to show people find buyers that bought a certain period of time, so October to December, and then they listed it. So go in our MLS status and say, okay, if they bought it from October to December, I want the flippers. So they have to have listed after January then, right? And we were able to find this right here. People that bought from October to December. So when you click on these properties, you'll see, oh, cash transaction in November for $53,000. And then they listed it for $92,000 in May, right? Because what we're doing is we're forcing the data to find us this. Show me someone who only bought between October to December of last year and then listed it. And typically when you do this, you tend to find the ones with higher prices, right? So bought it for 53, listing for 92, literally 7 months later, right? So this is a flipper. And so you'll notice that trend across each one. Cash for 77, flipping it for 154. So everyone was like, dude, that's freaking amazing. You just showed us how to find flippers. And
I remember that, Burton.
Remember? Yeah, exactly. And so our development team says, hey, Burton, we can actually make that into something. So the first thing we did was we made it into an actual quick list choice, except the time frame was a little bit more of an advanced logic. The logic with flippers is it's been flipped in less than 24 months. And the reason we did 24 months is hard money loans usually balloon in about 24 months. They're usually 18 months, but some rare ones do 24 months. So our team said, okay, we can do that. Find someone who bought a property and they put it back on market in 24 months or less. So we created that list first. And then I was like, yo, could we do that for a subject property? And that's what we have. So when you now go to Fayetteville, build your liens, and find that property that you're looking for. Here, I just copied and pasted that property. There it is, Taylor. And you populate this property with that lien, we now have a new area. It's not just comparables, it's called flip comps. It takes that logic that I was showing and it gives it to you right here in the comparables. So here's what this does. It shows you the comps that were flipped in the 1 year. So someone bought it in the last year and they flipped it. Okay, so if you want to go back 2 years, feel free, right? Because flippers usually stay in that area. They don't really jump from area to area. So show me all the flips that happened since 2019 in the last 2 years. And the flips that I want are identical to my subject property. So show me all the flips that were 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Right, I'll do 2 to 3 because some of these flips can sometimes put a 3rd bathroom in there. So I'll do 2 to 3 bathrooms. I can put year built. I can put the square footage of the building that was flipped. And then the most important part is how long did it take that person to flip the property? Now, I'm not looking for a buyer who takes 2 years to flip. I want a quick buyer, right? Buyer takes my contract, rehabs it, puts it back on market in 6 months. So what I want is someone who takes 3 to 10 months on that flip. Property class must be a residential, single family property that was flipped. Distance, 1 mile from my house. How did this flipper buy the property? Through cash. And do you want to see anybody buying multiple properties? Nah, not right now, just the single property. And this is what our flip comps will show you. This is very powerful because it tells me, the way I look at data is it tells me a story. And the reason why I like this flip comp is it's loaded with everything. First, it shows you the address that was flipped. So 6785 St. Julian Way, which is just west of our property, has a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,200 square foot, just like our property, right? Besides even going in further on this, the fact that there's 15 flips in this last 2 years means this is a market that people want to be in to flip properties. So I'm good, right? So just the fact that there was 15 flips in the last 2 years, I'm comfortable that getting a contract here, we're going to find a flipper. But once I get my result, it shows me the address that was flipped, the characteristics of the address, when they bought the property, and how much the buyer was willing to pay in what? Cash. So now it's telling me the buyer's power in this market. And as you can see, there's a trend. Buyers are buying $68,000, $70,000, $80,000. Don't lock up anything more than that because these buyers aren't going to willing to deal with you. So not only does it show me the address that's flipped, the characteristics of the address that was flipped, it shows me what the buyer is willing to pay for, right? So lock it up under that price. Second, it shows me the ARV. They did the work for us. They bought it for 80, they rehabbed it, and then they sold it for a higher price. That 135 is the ARV of this 3-2-1200 property that looks like this. So now I know what it takes to get a property listed at 130. You make it look like this, right? Doesn't look so great, but that's why he got 130. He still got a deal because he got it for 80, right? Now, what about this $82,000 one that's listing it for 132? Same characteristics, right? What does that look like? What does a 132 property look like? Hey, there's a trend. Wooden floors, light color paint, okay kitchen. So we now see what these buyers are willing to put their money towards, right? Something at 80,000, put a little bit rehab, they're okay with listing it at 130. So you're getting the ARVs of all the 3-2s in this neighborhood. Ultimately, you're getting the buying power of everybody in this neighborhood as well. And you get to see the images of that ARV. So here you go, right? So you can see the more love you get, the higher the value of the property. So right off the bat, I know, hey, this 3-2 that we're dealing with has an ARV that's within a 130, 140 range. And then if the homeowner says, well, I want 90 cash. Well, Mr. Homeowner, nobody's paying cash over $90,000 right now in your neighborhood because of the fact that they have to take your property that's falling apart. They'll give you 90,000, maybe 80,000 for it, but they have to put a lot into it to make profit. But this is why I like the flip comps. And as a matter of fact, we don't have a report for it, but when you highlight the comps that you're looking at, let's say all of them, we'll summarize it for you. The average purchase amount, what the buyers are usually able to flip it for or buy it for, the average flip amount, and the average gross profit that the buyers are making. Average purchase price per square footage, average flip price per square footage, and average gross. But the most important part to me is this top one. Shows you the average cash buyer amount, the average ARV, and then the gross profit these buyers would like to make in order to deal with you.
Wow, this is just so crazy. I mean, I'm just blown. Hi, Burton. This is so good. So it even shows you like, you know, what kind of equity they're playing in an area. It's not by standard like, oh, I need 70% of ARV or whatever. You know what areas would take 80% or 90 or whatever, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is powerful because, again, you see the buyer's amount. And you're right. I mean, 132, I mean, we can do some math here. So if we do 132 times 70%, yeah, see, they want lower than 72%. Some of these guys aren't even going to pay $90,000. Some of them will. So it's beyond 70% in this market. This market, the buyer's like, yeah, 60%. That's what they want, 65%. But if you try to go in this market at 70%, you might not be a very happy camper. You might be wondering, why don't buyers want my, well, because there's rehab involved, right? And you still have to make your assignment fee on top of that. So that's what I like about this, is because it really identifies like the trend in that market. I know a lot of people like to use the 70% rule, but that may not apply all the time, right? And that 82 right there, that's including your assignment fee. So if the person that flipped it made, you know, 7,000, then that contract was actually 75,000. So it actually would have been lower than that, because you still have to attach your assignment fee, and that price includes the assignment fee. So 80,000 was the total purchase price, but it could have been a $60,000 house, and then the contract was 20,000. So this person could have made a $20,000 assignment fee because he got it for 60K, right? So that to me is the most important part about this. It shows you the behavior, shows you how fast they're flipping it, the photos, so you can determine, okay, yes, that was a rehab property that was flipped. And again, you get the buyer's amount, you get the purchase amount or the ARV amount, and then the characteristics to say, yep, my property fits the exact criteria that these properties fit.
Right. Wow.
I got a couple questions to tag onto this, man. I'm sorry to make this take so long, but I think this is probably one of the most powerful things for real estate wholesalers.
Yes.
One question is here, because I think it removes all excuses here, because the biggest excuse that we all hear is from one another is, I don't know what to offer. I mean, what do I offer? You know, like it's just like I'm frozen because I don't know what to offer. And it's like we won't even send the agreement with any number on it because we don't know what to. Okay, no more, because now we know right there. So here's two questions I got. One is we go into a neighborhood like that and there are no flip comps. Does that mean that there's no flips going on in that neighborhood, and maybe we should avoid doing this particular neighborhood deal because there's no buyers for it?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then secondly, the question is once I'm in the flip comps, my mouth is watering, man. Okay, I wanted, you know, I'm just like, oh my gosh, look at these buyers and what they've already accomplished in this neighborhood. What is the direct line from where you are right now on the screen to finding those buyers right there?
The best way to find these buyers right now is, because most of these buyers are going to probably be corporate office. You can do one of two things. If there's a buyer that catches your eye, like let's say this buyer right here, like I love what they did with their property. Like they really took care of their property. You can tell. So that buyer, obviously I'm not going to be able to find out. So what you can do is you click on it, go into the details, and you can do one of two ways. You can do a quick Google search. So once you're in the details of that property that was flipped, this property, you can go in the mortgage transaction and then just quickly Google the seller's name, the seller that sold it to the new homeowners, right? So that's one way. Google the LLC that did the flip. Or the other easy way is go into the MLS details and just call the agent directly. Ronald, what's going on? I got a contract in the neighborhood. Just wondering if you could help me out with some buyers. I see that you represented a company called Rescue Rehab recently. Do you know a contact information there?
Right.
And here's the important part about that.
Call them out. Yeah.
Ronald is not going to only give you this person's contact information if you're kind to him. Ronald has like 7 other buyers on his list as well. So it's always good to build relationships with these agents. So if you can't get a hold of the LLC, or you can't skip trace it, or too busy to try to Google it, call the agents representing these flippers. You have, in this case, 15 agents that represented 15 flippers. So just click on that property, go into the details, either look in the transaction history and get a hold of the seller or the seller of the property manually. So I can go in here and I can do the hard work, go to OfferPad LLC, do a quick Google search, OfferPad Fayetteville, North Carolina, and now I can just give them a call, right? OfferPad, there you go. I can call them directly. Or if I'm too afraid to call a customer support line, I don't want to talk to secretary, I don't want to be put on hold or any of that stuff, straight to the point. I don't need to do that. I don't need to Google OfferPad. I just go to MLS, pick up the phone. Kyle, what's going on, man? I need a buyer. I was wondering if you can help me out really quick. And I have his phone number.
Boom.
So that's two ways to approach that. You can either click on the property, go into details and see the transaction history in Google, who sold the property, or just get that agent's information and you can call it a day.
That's great. Thank you.
What do you do with the realtor that wants a little piece of the action that you're calling on, and how do you work that?
That's something that you're going to have to talk with realtors directly, because you can't really give them a flat commission. I mean, they can get in trouble at the end of the day, but at the same time, they want to be incentivized. So I've seen things like there's no direct commission. So like, let's say the agent hooks up the investor with the buyer. It's kind of just a word of mouth where it's like, hey, I really appreciate it. Clearly, I can't give you a commission or anything, but I'm going to have that buyer give you a call back, right? I'm going to tell the buyer, hey, this is the person that hooked me up with your information. If you end up selling the property, please go to this so-and-so individual. Or, hey, if I have a property that I call and we can't wholesale it, I'll hand them over to you, right? So you may not be able to give them some sort of direct financial compensation, but that relationship can be beneficial to them at the long run. Now, those are just some ideas there.
Yeah, I did a email to the buyer, basically highlighting all of the, amazing qualities of the realtor, and I blind CC'd the realtor on the email, and he was ecstatic about the fact that I recommended him like that, and he was able to see exactly what I said, so he didn't have to take my word for it that I'm putting his name out there or anything, right? So that kind of ups my credibility with him, and now he knows that I'm gonna keep my word when I say I'm gonna try to do whatever I can. And if they have the ability sometimes to accept like a referral fee or marketing fee, in some areas there's a percentage that or a dollar amount, even if it's $25. If it's $25, I'll send them a $25 Amazon gift card or whatever.
I love that.
So Victor.
Yes, dear.
Hi, Victor. So Let me ask you a question. So are you saying that, right? So if you're the listing agent, right? Because you want to go after the buying agent, right? When it comes to looking up who, in terms of like who bought the property and stuff like that, right? So if I reach out to the listing agent and I'm asking for the buyer's agent and there's nothing in it for the listing agent, you're not going to feel some sort of way about that if I'm contacting you? Because sometimes when you look in PropStream, it doesn't tell you who the buyer's agent is. It tells you who the listing agent is. So if I'm reaching out to you as an investor, what are you looking for as a listing agent? Because you know that I'm trying to get actually to the buyer's agent.
Well, does
that make sense? I don't know if I explained it really well.
Well, in my example, there was no listing agent. It wasn't a listed property. I reached out to an agent who gave me some help, and that's how I, made the communication. But that's a great question. If in fact there was a listing agent involved, I would have to, probably do it a different way. But in either case, I think that the point I was making was just to let them know that, I am going to keep my word in terms of trying to bring them more business, acknowledging them for the work that they've done, et cetera, and just kind of build the relationship and keep them on my team like that. Yeah,
but I'm saying to you, if you're the leasing agent and I reach out to you, what are you looking for? I'm saying just put your hat on, like I'm looking. I'm reaching out
as an
to
agent.
you, right? Yeah, as an agent, right? So. And the buyer's agent, but I don't know that information. So I'm reaching out to you because you're on there as a listing agent. I know you're involved in that transaction. So what are you looking for in terms of like, in this transaction and stuff like that? Can you work with us in terms of that? What do you put us in your training thought, like, what are you thinking of? If an investor reaches out to you and you're the listing agent and stuff like that.
You know, I'm not really clear about the question, to be quite honest. Okay, so I have, let's say I have a listing.
So let's say I look up PropStream.
Okay.
And I look at the transaction that happened in terms of that, right? And it was sold by somebody, but it wasn't the buyer's agent. It was listed by somebody, and you were the listing agent. And you weren't the buyer's agent, but I saw that you were the listing agent. So I'm reaching out to you because I'm trying to get to the buyer's agent, because we want to go after the buyer's agent because that person's buying vacant land or the house and stuff like that. But they're not on that. They're not in PropStream. The listing agent is
what you're
on there.
referring to. So you're trying to get a hold of the buyer, but you're afraid that you might be getting hold of the listing agent, not the buyer's agent.
Right, exactly. The listing agent is on there. Yeah.
It's really no different. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, as a wholesaler, as a person who acquires contract, you're like their best friend, whether it's a listing agent or a buyer's agent. Just simply ask, right? And just play kind of dumb, like, hey, you know, I see that you might have, you know, you did this transaction. I was wondering if you know the buyers or a point of contact for the buyer. And they might say, hey, I'm just the listing agent. Yeah, but they might still have that information. So I would still perhaps reach out to them. But remember, let's put yourself in their position, right? You got this stranger calling you. They want that buyer's info. What am I going to get out of it? Now, sometimes, like Victor says, some of these agents cannot get financial compensation, right? So you can't just flat out give them money. You can probably gift them something. It depends on the brokerage, right? But if I was an agent and you wanted me to connect you with the buyer agent that we split commission with recently, what am I getting out of it? So as what Victor did is he built the relationship. He said, look, I can't give you anything right now, but what I can do is I can definitely promote your name, right? If you work with me, I work with you. I come across deals all the time, and some of these deals we can't work with. And so we tell them, sorry, we can't help. You're better off going to an agent. In those situations, I don't mind dropping your name. So we kind of have this like mutual experience. There's no financial compensation. It's just this mutual exchange where, look, I need something from you and I can give you something from me, right? What I need from you is the buyers that you know, and what you need from me are perhaps the contracts that I don't get. So that's probably like the relationship. That's why when people say, does this replace an agent or MLS? No, it doesn't, because you can never replace the networking, the network that a person has. And so that's the way that I've seen investors approach that, Sandra, is give them an offer they can't refuse, right? Which is like, hey, I need that buyer that you worked with. Maybe I can work with you by giving you some leads. I know I can't give you anything right now, but I come across deals all the time where, you know, they rather list the property instead of work with me and get a cash offer. You don't mind me giving your information out? And I think that might help.
Right. And I'm asking, I think the reason I'm asking Victor specifically because he wears two hats. He's an investor and he's also an agent and stuff. You know, so
that makes sense. That makes sense.
And and that's why I'm trying to like ask that, because we can reach out to an agent, but they're not necessarily investors. So that's why I'm trying to ask Victor specifically. And I'm probably not doing a good job in terms of asking that question, but I'm trying to, I hope it's making sense in terms of.
Well, I think the bridge, it just like Burton was mentioning, the bridge is the relationship, right? So your job now, basically, if you call me and you're wanting some information that, you know, I may or may not be compensated for, now it's your job to build a relationship with me. Don't just call me and tell me, look, I'm trying to find somebody, and, you know, expect that I'm going to just give you a number and you're going to disappear and you and this other person now are going to be doing business together and stuff. Like most people don't, you know, like especially agents, right? They guard their little pockets really tight. So they may not be willing to share that information with you. But if you call me and say, hey, Victor, you know, I'm an investor. I work in your area all the time. I'm not sure if, in fact, you know, this is a fit for us or anything, but I'm looking at a property that you were involved with just recently. And I'm trying to get some information, and, you know, whatever we can do together, however I can work with you on this, I'll be more than happy to. You know, but I'm looking at this property at such and such and such, and I'm going to, you know, in some way, I'm going to just build relationship, right? I'm going to find a bridge, something that you and I can talk about where now I like you. If I like you, I'll probably just give you the information.
Makes sense.
Right? I don't have to be compensated, but I probably have to like you.
Yeah.
Can I, Burton, can I run something by you real quick about that? And you correct me if I'm wrong.
Please.
Thank you, Rick.
Because I've done this in the past too with in property details information. There is like the ownership transfer at the very bottom, which has the buyer's name. And I've went in there and skip traced them before.
You're correct. That does show that in there. So when you go into the screen
You show
right
us?
here, yeah. So buyer's information. So you go into property details. It's right here. Buyer, seller's information.
And I've done that a few times and then just skip traced them and was, hey, what do you think about that you just bought, 3 months ago or whatever, whatever the case is.
Yeah,
and
that's also found
me a couple of times.
Transaction history as well.
Burton, so it shows a lot of times it shows the listing agent, but it doesn't show the buyer's agent. That's what it is. I'm not talking about the actual buyer. I'm talking about
right. When you're talking with the flipping, you're absolutely right. Like I would say 9 out of 10 times when you're pulling up a flipping property. So when you're in that flip comps, and you're 100% right.
You guys are working on, because you guys can pull. You guys have the listing agent, but is the PropStream?
That's a good question. Let me see if we can do that.
Because that's really what we're trying to get at. Because we're always looking for buyers. So if you guys can get to that, right?
Yeah, let me see if we can do that.
Most of the time, they're going to be the same agent. Most of the time, because the investor is not going to use, especially if it's an agent that's selling it, they're not going to use somebody to go get their listing. Half the time, that's why they do it, because they're going to get the relist. So half the time, it's the agent already.
So it's the same person you're saying, Nick?
Well, yeah, what Nick is saying that is most cash buyers, like the ones that we're identifying right here, they already work with an agent in most cases. So once they buy the property for $95,000 and when they're about to list it for $147,000, what Nick is saying is that agent that listed for it's typically 8 out of 10 times the buyer's agent, not because remember, who bought the property? The buyer. And so who's now in charge of listing the property? The buyer. And so that right here is typically the buyer's agent. But you might be right. I mean, what
about if it's different brokerages though? It might be, it might not be the same thing, So
usually the person listing it is the buyer's agent. As if another brokerage were to find a buyer and then they, this brokerage would then have to cut the commission. But what Nick is saying is that most, like I would say 9 out of 10 times, the person listing the property for the flippers is the buyer's agent. Because remember, who owns the property now? It's not the previous owner, because the buyer already bought it for $43,000. So the buyer has the property now. And so when he bought it in February and then listed it 3 months later, he used his own agent. He didn't randomly grab it. So that agent, I would say not, but you're right. There might be a case where it might be somebody else. But
so if in that case, is that something the PropStream is working on when it comes to that? That's
what I'm going to have to see. So I have to look at our data sets. And if an MLS transaction has 2 agents, that's what we have to identify first. So if a transaction has 2 agents, can we see that? Because we get MLS data. So we have to see if we can get that information. And so
thank you so much. It would be awesome. Appreciate that, Burton.
But yeah, so if I can get both of those information, it's now just a matter of right here in the details, showing you the seller agent, and then we would just have to create a new area of buyer's agent. That's if we have that information. But I love where your mind is going, because it may not apply for the flippers, but I would love to see it maybe for, like, if I click on a Fayetteville, North Carolina regular listing, I would like to see that. I think that'd be a great idea, to click on a property and say, hey, there's a buying agent and a selling agent that,
thank you so much,
completed this transaction. I think that's a genius suggestion.
Great question, LaShonda.
Very great question. Yep.
No, that's Sandra.
That literally sparked my mind right now. So I appreciate you.
That's Sandra. You can give everything to LaShonda. That's Sandra.
That is Sandra. That's
sorry.
Sandra.
Great question, Sandra.
LaShonda.
Okay.
Let's keep it moving
We
here, guys.
We can't tell because we can't see your faces.
We've been here for an hour. I don't know how long we have, Burton, but maybe we can get him to invest another 15 minutes with us. Is that something you can do, Burton, or maybe not?
Yeah. Can you just give me about 2 minutes? I could take a quick break.
Yeah, that sounds good. Nick is on deck with a question. Who else do we have with a question? We've got a question here about List Automator, and Who said Addie?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have Nick and Addie when he comes back. Let's do some housekeeping. If you're in the VIP club, we are launching a brand new lineup next week. And let me share screens here and see if I can enlighten everybody, make sure everybody knows. Basically, nothing's changing for the daytime schedule, but the call lab schedule is changing. Okay, it's going to Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and we're having an AM and a PM. Okay, so a nighttime lab, so everybody can plug in there. This Monday, however, is a holiday, right? So we won't be having anything on Monday. All right, so all of this will start on Tuesday at 10 a.m. with the call lab, Mark Richardson, and then right after that, we'll have, like we always do, the daytime coaching session, and then a nighttime call lab at 6 o'clock Central. So guys, put it on your calendar. The schedule's posted on the VIP Quick Start course, also in the private Facebook group.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. One of those big changes, it's bad news, but one of those big changes is you didn't see here, I'll point it out, is that there's no Friday session. I mean, there's no Saturday session. I didn't put Saturday Shut Up Money Show on here. The coaches of Real Estate Wholesalers Club and myself have talked, and we all seem to agree that Saturdays is a great day to be on the phone, closing deals, working, not going to meetings. Okay. We have tons and tons of activities and meetings. So we're going to try to do away with Saturdays. And then what we want to do is we want to have here sometime soon. We're trying to put it together, a once a month Saturday event where we do all kinds of next level stuff, like a Super Saturday type thing.
Really?
Victor, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about you.
Okay.
I'm talking
like,
about
did you just take my idea?
No.
Okay.
That is your idea. So, I even put your name on it, the Super Saturday. That was the title and everything.
Let's do it. Let's make a joke.
Tell us what Super Saturday would look like.
Well, my original idea was basically where we would put together something where we have buyers on deck, ready to make offers. We would in advance let you know what markets we're looking for those buyers, along with what Burton has done today, where you can actually go into those markets and mine for deals and everything. And we're looking to have you bring those deals, have us put those deals together with the help of, structure people like a Steve Driscoll. And then we're going to be able to turn those deals right over to buyers all on the same day. And try to see if we can, generate some activity for you guys where, we have people ready to cut checks, be it individual investors or institutional type investors that we will be sourcing and get them into the room with everybody so that you guys can present your deals. We can make offers. They can let us know what they're going to give us for that deal, and we can, go to contract on those deals. That would be the ideal scenario when it's all said and done.
We just keep bringing the storm. That's all.
Tell them about it.
That's it. I mean, this club, we just keep bringing it. That's it. What else can you say?
Is going to be for like a specific area or just general?
Normally buyers are specific area buyers. Most buyers don't just buy everywhere. They will, and we'll let you know what areas, we're targeting for any particular Saturday. Okay. So we want you to go into those areas and mine for some deals. That way we can be closer to, not guaranteeing, but you get the biggest chance of being able to turn that deal over.
And
sounds great.
Sorry, Victor. I was going to say, here's the coolest part. That I think we can gear the call labs towards those markets. When you guys nab a deal alongside calling alongside a coach and some other members, you get a deal. We boom, money. Shut up, money.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Burton, you're back, bro.
I'm back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. And yeah, we got 15 more minutes, 20 more minutes, however much time you guys. I said 9:30 my time, so that's about 24 minutes. So we should be good.
Okay. Okay.
I had a question. I don't know if it was answered or not. I was dropping my dog up at the groomer. But in talks of the flip comps, is there a quick search feature to where we could do and see which areas have flip comps versus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's right in our search menu. So once you go into a market, just go into filter, and it's right here. We have flippers for you.
Oh, and that would just show the flip. I guess, yeah, that would have the.
So the logic here is anybody that bought a property and it's listed, right? So the difference between the flippers and the flip comps are actually sold properties. The flippers are ones that are active right now. So they haven't sold yet. They're just saying, hey, here's a property that someone bought and they've listed it less than 2 years after buying it. So it's flippers, where the other one was a flip comp, where it actually shows you a sale that happened in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Fred. And then the other question along with that is, in non-disclosure states, is it still going to show you the buying power of what that sold for?
No, great question, Nicholas. It's not going to show you the sell amount because it is a non-disclosure state.
Okay.
The only time you will see it is if it was a sale on the MLS, which not too many buyers buy things at a discount through MLS. So unfortunately, no. With the cash transactions in non-disclosure state, you won't know. So to answer Nick's point, to show you everybody what Nick was referring to, is if we go to like Dallas, Texas, and we pull up a property, and try to grab it. Here we go, residential single family, and we go into the comparables and we click on flip comps. Have any in a 1 mile radius? How about 2 mile radius? 3 mile radius? Trying to find an area. Okay, so right here, that purchase amount is usually inaccurate. So that's what you, don't want to go off that. So you won't, this right here, you will never know. As a matter of fact, if you ever go into the details to check it out for yourself, just because you're curious, it literally will tell you estimated value. The only time, again, that you will know the actual amount is if it was bought on the MLS. But like you can see here, that 812 is an estimated value because it is a non-disclosure state. So unfortunately, you will not be able to see what the buying power is. You'll only be able to see what the ARV is, because that's the MLS amount. That's what that amount right there, the 638, is derived from the MLS details, which is not disclosed, which is not removed or not disclosed from us. It's actually, or it's redacted, I should say. So when it comes to MLS, we actually get the exact sell amount. But you see here how the county, like the MLS said 685, the county said 638. Like, where the hell did you get that number from? Right? That's the non-disclosure stuff. So unfortunately, it's a 50-50 for you. It's going to be no on the buying power, but you're going to get the ARV definitely. And the photos as well. Those will still be there to help you out, but you won't be able to get the actual buying power, unfortunately.
Okay. Thanks, Burton.
Yeah, no problem. That's a solid question. Yeah, I wish one day we could. To this very day, I don't know why those guys won't give us the sell amount. Like, it literally makes no sense. The only thing I could think of is they just don't want any like outside investors in their state. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, they don't want people in California to know property value, so they can't run comps. I don't really know. Like, what is the reason that you're not giving the public what a property sold for? Like, that doesn't just make any sense. But I don't know. We'll leave it at
that. Real quick, the data and all the data, including raw land data, everything updated every 30 days, correct?
It depends on the category, actually. So, but like at the bare minimum, 30 days. And so what I mean by that is that, let's say this Plumberton Drive address, nothing happens in the next 30 days. We still update every 30 days. What we update is the estimated value. We'll update the equity. If there's a mortgage balance, so let me see if I can find a property with a mortgage. So if there's a mortgage, they pay a mortgage once a month. So that mortgage balance gets updated. So the question is, like, on an individual property, like when do you guys update individual once a month? Because the estimated value will get changed. The comps, there could be a property that sold in the last month, and so that's going to change the value. The mortgage balance will change once a month, and then the equity will also change once a month. Oh, and we also check for occupancy, whether it's vacant or not, every month. So at the bare minimum, every property, all 154 million properties in our system get updated once a month. But the other layer to that is that at any given moment, like as we're talking right now, Fayetteville could send us an MLS listing, right? Like they sent us one on the 19th or the 24th. What is that, 5 days ago? So 5 days ago, Edgewater didn't have any records until that MLS hit, right? So 5 days ago, we didn't have this right here. All we had was just the mortgage balance that was updating once a month, the estimated value updating. And then boom, hey, there's a listing that appeared here for you guys. And so that is like the answer is that property, if nothing is ever happening to that property, it will be updated once a month. But at any given time, a lien can appear, cash buyer could appear. And what happens is when a lien appears, all we do is we take that lien data and connect it to the MLS data that we already have, to the tax information that we already have. So once a month at the minimum is when a property updates. But remember, as we speak now, a lien could appear in a property's record this morning. So that could vary. And as to these categories, like when did the frequency of the MLS comes in? It varies, usually every 24 to 72 hours. Like in this area, we have, again, the listing was the 24th, right? So that was 4 days ago. But if I go to, let's say, let's do Chicago, let's do another area, and I click on MLS, 26, they're 2 days behind. So Fayetteville is 4 days behind in the MLS. That's their database for that market. But Chicago, the relationship we have, they send it every 2 days. So we're only just 2 days behind. So great question, once a month at minimum for an individual property, but records can appear bi-weekly, every other day, monthly, sometimes every Wednesday, depends on the county.
Great.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
LaShonda,
Go ahead, LaShonda.
LaShonda, yeah, she was trying to jump in a minute ago. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, as far as the MLS data, what percentage is that? Because I'm noticing like it's not all MLS, is it?
No, it's not. No. So I would say on a nationwide level, we have about 93% coverage. There's about like 700 odd MLS boards nationwide, and we probably have a good 715 of them, like 780 or something like that. But no, you're right. This is not like the MLS. What we do is we extract data from the MLS and then put it in our system. But you are going to catch things that we don't have that other providers have, and vice versa. Like even without PropStream, like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, they don't have the same listings, right? That's why, like till this very day, I'm wondering, like, why are there even 3 of those websites if everybody has the same listings? And you realize no one has the same listings. And the reason for that is, as an agent, you get to decide where your listing gets shown up in, right? And there's 3 outlets in which you can process your listing. It's IDX, RETs, and VOWs. So if an agent gets a listing and they put it through IDX, IDX puts it on everybody's website, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, PropStream. But then ultimately the agent can say, you know what, I don't want it on PropStream. I don't want it on Redfin, but Realtor, you're good to go. You can have my listing. So that's why you're not going to see 100% in PropStream or on Redfin or on Zillow or any of these guys. That's why we all exist, is because it's just the relationship building, is that we have stronger listings in certain areas that Zillow may not have, and then vice versa. They might have a stronger listing in certain markets that we don't have because agents know Zillow more than they know PropStream. So that's the answer right there. But great question. Yeah, we don't have everything. I'll be the first to say we're not live data. So if someone were to list a property this morning on the MLS, you're not going to see it in PropStream. And we don't have everything. There are some agents that pocket their listings sometimes, and they just don't want to have anybody see anything. So that's where you're going to see.
Good
and
point.
So, yeah, could something be off market but really be on market? Yes, that could happen in our system, which is why we give you 10,000 records, because it's a numbers game and that's going to happen.
Hey, Burton, quick question before
Yes,
time
Addie,
runs
what's
out.
going on?
Yeah, so on that quickly, speaking back to that, I just had two questions about the landlords. Like if you pick that feature, does it just auto-populate? Like if you select a city or a state, it just shows you everything, you know, about the property, or what does it represent? And then the other one is the zombie properties. What are zombie properties?
Great
So
question.
two things, yeah.
No, great question. So let's address them both. So tired landlords, what that is essentially non-owner occupied property. So the owner is not living in their property,
Yeah,
and
no, I was
a
just saying,
minimum
like,
of
if you
15 years.
just use that quick list, whatever, to select it, you still have to make other selections, right? You can't just use that and just put a city or whatever, and it pops up with Thailand.
Oh, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You do need to, for any one of our quick list choices, you always want to add extra layers to it, or what I call your preferences. So tired landlords is non-owner occupied with a minimum 15 years of ownership. But since we're dealing with off-market properties, we still got to make sure it's off-market. We still got to make sure it has equity, or as I say, no equity, no assignment fee. So got to make sure it has equity. And, you know, what type of landlord are you looking for? You know, I want to talk to a person. I want to make sure the property is residential, single family. So you can do that.
So pretty much.
So you definitely, still need to add some layers to it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so what are the zombie
And
properties?
zombie properties, so that's been a term around for a while. What it is really is just a pre-foreclosure. So if you go to Fayetteville, it's a pre-foreclosure that's vacant. That's really it. You see these 15 properties, pre-foreclosure vacant. Back in the 80s and 90s, the in crowd, the investors back in the day, used to just call them zombie properties. It was just like a little network thing it was like a term that we used back in the days, but that's really what it is. A zombie property is someone in pre-foreclosure and vacant the same time. That's really it.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. This, I would say right now, but honestly, this is probably the hardest list to capture, because not only is a person like in pre-foreclosure, right? They're not paying their bank, but they're vacant. Like they've gone. And so this person has owned the property for 16 years, but they're not answering the mail anymore. So this one will probably require some extra researching, like skip tracing or talking to neighbors perhaps. So that's why people called it the zombie properties, is because it's literally like waking up the dead. Like this is the hardest list proper like out there, because we're like, where the heck is the owner? I usually explain this to people, like as investors, you know exactly what to do when someone's in pre-foreclosure. But remember, there are millions of people out there that are not investors, like these 15 people here who got a pre-foreclosure and they're like, oh, life is over. Let's just get the hell out of here. And then they just disappear off the face of the planet, right? But that's why it's hard, is if we can call Jeremiah and say, hey, no, Jeremiah, time out. We can help you. There's a way out of this situation. Then you found yourself the best lead possible. But most of the times, these are hard because these homeowners, they're like my parents. They're third world, or they're people that have no idea how real estate works. And they don't realize that a pre-foreclosure, you still have time, right? Like we know on average, when you get a you have like 6 months, sometimes to a year to work with that. Some of these homeowners, they see pre-foreclosure that first, and then they just run away, right? Like this individual right here, not to be like offensive or anything, but I don't see a traditional American name. This might be someone from a different background who doesn't know what we know, right? So when Royston got that pre-foreclosure in April, he was like, bye, I'm out of here, gone. And now it's vacant, right? So these are things that you want to.
It depends on how much you want to be, build your own niche. If you're like, okay, nobody's, walking this niche, everybody's running away, but I want to focus on these people and find them, because that's like, a lead that nobody's walking.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like if I was in your position, like if I was doing this list, I would just click on that property, go to the comparables, look at the neighbor next door, left and right, numbers 1 and 2, right? I'd probably save 1 and 2 to a list. I'd call this list, what's the name of this property? 5709 neighbors. So I call it 5709 neighbors. Okay. So I'd save those 2 properties left and right to the subject property, right? Numbers 1 and 2 on this map. So again, they're zombie properties. Homeowners are around, but I saved numbers 1 and 2, neighbors left and right, to a list, right? So there are my 2 neighbors. Now I'm going to skip trace those 2 neighbors and I'm going to talk to those 2 neighbors. I'm going to see if I can get a phone number or some sort of contact information to that homeowner that no one can get a hold of, right? So you see how powerful this could be? So all I do now is just skip trace those 2 neighbors for 20 cents, probably the best 20 cents I've invested in my life.
Dude,
if I
crazy.
Skip tracing for LLCs too, so it's just 10 cents.
No, we don't skip trace LLCs, just individuals. If you come across an LLC, we ignore it. And it's normally 12 cents. I have it 10 cents because I have list automator. But you know, that's how I would approach it. I mean, there's only so many zombie properties. I mean, I just have to do that 15 times, then go to the next one. And comparables, click on the neighbors, save numbers 1 and 2, the ones next door, to a list, call that 230 neighbors, skip trace them. But the idea is that now that I've skip traced them, it's just a matter of waiting for that phone number to appear. And once I get Rachel or Michael, the neighbor's phone number, just give them a call. Hey, Rachel, hey, Michael, I'm so sorry to bother you. You know, the reason why I'm calling you, I don't normally do this, but I've been trying to get a hold of your neighbor. I've knocked on the door, I've sent postcards. I know that house has been vacant. It's probably degrading your property value a little bit, isn't it? Right? Maybe the weeds are coming over. Maybe they're not cutting the grass and it's encroaching on your yard. Michael, Rachel, you think you can help me out a little bit? So that's how I would approach zombie properties. Skip trace the neighbors and talk to neighbors. They might be able to help you identify where the owner, oh, he went to his mother's house, or you know what, he told me to check his mail, and if you call him on this number, you might get a hold of him, right? So sometimes the homeowners have great relationships with the neighbors. And sometimes the neighbors are in on it and they're like, hey, dude, I'm in trouble and the banks are going to try to send me mail. I'm not going to be around for a little bit. Is that okay? Or I'm going to be on vacation. A lot of people are going to come by my house, let them know I'm not around, whatever it may be. But that's how I would approach it, is pull up the zombie property, then skip trace the neighbors, and then just build relationships. And heck, the neighbors may not know, but maybe the neighbors might want to sell because that dude's house has been abandoned for 15 years. And the neighbor's like, I don't want to live with this guy next door. He's weird, right? So now you went from, I need to get this person's address to, oh, okay, well, I guess you want to sell too. And now you go from there. I'm just waiting for the number to show up. So that's why I keep refreshing. I'm just trying to see if I can get a number to show you guys like how powerful that could be. But that's zombie properties. It's pre-foreclosure and vacant, just requires extra research. My approach, skip trace the neighbors and start there and call it a day.
Wow.
Awesome.
Burton does not know how to not blow your mind, no matter what the question is.
Right.
It's incredible.
Thank you so much.
Burton,
oh no, thank you for answering that, or asking that question. I appreciate you.
I don't think
Burton,
we
I have
have
a question.
Yeah, what's going on?
Sorry, Justin, can I ask that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I know, I don't know if you've been hearing about this whole thing about wholesaling is illegal and all that stuff's happening and coming down and all that, where it's like the next thing that like investors might be doing is either getting a real estate license or doing double closing or something, or one of the two, or there might be another third option. But have you heard of that when it comes to PropStream, and how is that going to affect that? And what are you guys doing when it comes to that? I don't know if you've heard about that whole thing.
Yeah, so I've heard about it. I know so far. Oh, hold on one second. My son is. Hold on one second here.
You know, Jerry Norton put out that video, and it's like it's been the most viral.
I saw that. Jerry and Joe McCall, right? I saw that.
Yeah, Joe McCall followed on his heels, but it's been like the most viral topic ever.
Right.
Yeah,
I've ever
I just want
seen.
to know how PropStream is kind of like.
It's not going to impact us at all.
We
don't need to do anything any different. We're not like. We as a company, remember, we don't like, we sell real estate data. We're not a wholesaling product. So how is it going to affect the wholesalers? I'm on the same on your end. Like, we just don't know where it's going. So far though, it has impacted, as far as I know, Illinois, you can only do like one wholesale a year, or up to a certain value. And after that, you will need your broker's license. As to how it's going to affect PropStream, it's not.
You don't
it
know
really
until you
isn't.
get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way for us to work around, because it doesn't really impact us as an industry. The only thing that has impacted PropStream directly is the Traced Act, TRACE, the Traced Act. That impacted us directly because of this. It literally forced us to shut down our RVMs. So the Federal Trade Commission and the Traced Act, it's a new act you guys probably want to look into, but it has to do with robocall, essentially leaving an automated call, text messaging as well as part of in that little umbrella. That's kind of a separate thing, but that's the only thing that's impacted us.
Okay,
right now.
I just want to double check. I know you guys are like real close. Obviously, we use you guys for everything, so I just want to just double check.
Oh, we'll still be here, but you might have your own personal hurdles. You might need to get a license. You might need to, I don't know, maybe they'll say, okay, only assignment fees can be 3,000 or something. I mean, you might need to work around that. That would be ridiculous.
No problem. Thank you.
And we'll be here. We'll be here. And right now, our lawyers are pretty confident. We're not going anywhere. So this is not impact, because all we're doing is providing public information to the masses as to the operation of real estate. That's where they're getting you guys.
Yeah. So the coaches here and myself are going to put together a little, we're having a meeting on Tuesday, and we're going to put together a video about that particular topic because it's so viral and everybody wants to know and all that. And it's not like something changed the day before Jerry Norton's video. It just hit at the right time in the right way with the right kind of headline. Well, we're gonna dive into it this week and try to break it all down and stuff. But I did put out a video recently on the Trace Act and the original TCPA Act and all that, and how to stay compliant right now. But great, that's great what he's saying and demonstrating it right there, the RVM stuff. Burton, I'm sorry, dude. We've just really taken up 90 minutes of your time already.
Oh, you're good.
And we haven't even
man.
cracked into List Automator. I don't know how we may or may not be able to remedy that, because here's our situation here in the club is we have some fellas that are really, really talented with PropStream and getting better every day. And List Automator is where we're a little more deficient. And so
yeah, I mean, if you guys got 10 minutes, I can kind of quickly break it down for you guys.
I think we do, but if you got 10 minutes, let's do it, brother.
I definitely do. All right, so let's break down what List Automator is. So it is an enhancement to your current version. So you do have to pay extra for it. But let me kind of give you a quick background of why we created it. We created it for really two main reasons. One reason is that let's think about what an investor is doing right now, right? So you go to a source for data, you buy, let's say 1,000 properties that you filtered through their system. You extract the 1,000 records, you skip trace it, so that's costing you money. And then you're going to need to market to this list of 1,000 properties. And they usually say, 4 to 7 times, right? So you take this list that you built in January 1st, and you skip trace it, and you market to it. Let's say you send 1,000 postcards on January 1st. You wait for people to call you back, whatever. Some do, some don't. Some that do say, don't call me back. Great. Okay, so February 1st, you send another wave of postcard. Maybe 995 because 5 people told you to don't call them anymore, right? So first month, 1,000 postcards, next month, and 995 postcards. No one answers you. So you try it again the third month, another 995 postcards. You do it the fourth month, 995 postcards. And then on the 5th month, you're like, look, this list is old now. Like, I just got to get rid of it, right? I'm going to dump the list. And that's what we call the churn and burn behavior, is that you build something and then you churn through it and then you burn it off later on, right? 5-6 months later, and then you build the list again. And little do you know that in that whole process, when you build the list again, that you have duplicates in there. That's reality. That's why most of the times people ask me, hey, when I save a list today and I save a list later, are you guys catching duplicates? Because you know and we know that you're building the same list and you're going to get some of the same results. So we put an end to that with List Automator. List Automator allows you to build that list of 1,000 properties and send it into automation. And what that does is it monitors those 1,000 properties. And at any point, any of those 1,000 properties don't meet your criteria anymore, we get it out of your list, right? So I could build a list in January and then log back in March. And in March, List Automator says, hey, remove 200 properties from this list. And then I can go off and send 800 postcards then, right? So I'm saving money because of List Automator. Not only does it remove the properties from your list, it also will add new records to your list for you as well. So as we're doing updates, it just says, hey, here's a property that meets this list's criteria, puts it right in there for you.
So you never waste marketing dollars.
That's the idea. So let me kind of show you exactly how it like works on my account here. So first thing I would do is, let me share my screen. I would go into a market that I'm going to search, like Fayetteville, and then I would create a list. I would maybe create a tax delinquent list of residential single family properties with 4 bedrooms or less, right? Whatever your criteria is. Let's make sure it's off market. Okay, great. And let's make this list a little bit lower. So we'll make 90% in equity, just so it's really low. Okay, great. So we have 3,249 results. We're going to check that off, add to list. Now, this is like an average list one would typically have. So we'll call this the List Automator list and hit save. So we took a regular search, right? You don't need to have List Automator do what I just did. We just went to Fayetteville. We built this list of tax delinquent properties that are off market with 90% in equity. And now we go into my properties. And normally what we would do then is we would take that list of 3,200 properties, skip trace it, and start a campaign with it, right? Which you should do. But what I can do now that I have List Automator is I can take that list and I can automate it. I can say, hey, when new properties come available, go ahead and add it to this list. So as PropStream is doing an update, it can automatically add it to the list, add it to another list, or I'll do it myself. The other alternative is that removing properties. So when properties change, so if any of these 32,000 properties or 3,200 properties I save change from my criteria at any point, we can remove it from your list or put it in another list or notify you at any point. So you take your marketing list that you've built with the specific filters, these filters right over here on the right side, and you send it into automation. So, hey, when new properties meet this criteria I just built, let me know. I'll do it myself. And when properties no longer meet my criteria, remove them or let me know and I'll do it myself. So then I initiate List Automator. And by the way, you can set notifications to yourself as well. But you build this list with whatever your criteria is. You click on the Automate List button here, and then you automate it. And now your list is in the automation area. From this day forth, we're going to keep running your properties that you've saved against your filter. So let's fast forward. We log off. A month goes by. We log back in. What do you think we're going to normally do? We're going to send 3,200 and some odd postcards again, right? Because we did it last month. We're going to do it again this month. Not anymore. With List Automator, I go into my properties and I click on an automated list, like my secret list, and it says, okay, you have 96 properties today. Nothing needs to be removed or added. Great. Let's click on my next list, my Vegas list. And that's what List Automator does. It says, hey, whoa, time out. Your 251 Vegas liens that you just created with this category right here. First off, 132 of them got to get deleted from your list. That just saved me money right there, because this list of 251, it was created on May 25th. It's only been 4 days. Wow, holy moly. So I'm sorry, those were added. Okay, so this was created on November 20th. Okay, so I knew it was a while. So on November 20th, so it's been 6 months already. December, January, February, March, April, May, we would have dumped this list by now. We would have said, all right, you know what? Let's rebuild this filter. Nope. Even though it's been 7 months later, all I need to do is remove the 132 that do not meet my criteria 7 months later and still mark it to the leftover ones. Oh, and by the way, you have 42 new ones that were added along the way, right? To me, the most important part of List Automator is removing, is to be able to log in, click on a list that's being automated, and it say, hey, remove these 132 properties from your list. That's what List Automator can do. The other thing, and here, let me just get out of here because it's going to take a minute to. The other thing that we provided that I absolutely love is this import feature right here. So we're in the industry of obviously a lot of people collecting data. And look, we've been in the industry for a long time that we get attacked quite a bit. Some of these new guys come into the industry, they build a system, try to mimic it like PropStream, and then the first thing that comes out of their mouth is our data is more accurate than PropStream, right? First off, it's a compliment. Thanks for using our name. That really makes us happy. But we did need to put an end to that. And so what we did is we created this import list feature. This allows you to take any outside data. So if you prefer a list from a different provider, or you got a list from a different provider, but they don't have vacant data, they don't have equity data, you can import that into PropStream and get our information. Like for example, I do this example every time, but my buddy, he works at a bail office. He's a bail bondsman, and he can hook it up with people that posted bail. It's public information, right? So we got properties that posted bail. I just have an address. This is the post bail list he provided me. I can take that post bail list and import it, right? So just download our template, copy it over to our template, which I already did. Now I choose that file and I import the bail list, right? Burton's bail list. And then I can get all of the data on that list. Now, here's the catch. It takes away from your monthly limit. So if I import this list of 260 properties, it does take away from my 10,000, but that's okay with me because I didn't need to do 260 individual property searches in the search page, because normally that's what you would have to do. Search one address and save it, one address and save it. But now I can import it all at once and get my bail list, like right here, just waiting for it to be completed. But this list, which I knew nothing about, right over here, with just addresses and just zip codes and all that whatnot, eventually, let me refresh this, it's going to give me my data. It might be lagging a little bit because my son is doing a Zoom class, but I'm hoping it actually uploaded my list here. All right, so it's still kind of lagging, but let me see. I think I might have done it already. See if I can have that. I don't think I have it yet. So I'm just waiting for it to load right now. Let me try it one more time. But the idea is it's going to give you our data. So bail lists. And the idea there is now that I have PropStream's data, so this outside list, which was just addresses, when I import it, so I'm just hoping this actually goes through. So wait 1 second. Sorry for the lag, guys, but I appreciate your patience.
Yeah, no worries. Gives my brain a minute to catch up.
Yeah. You know what? I think my account, it might be my account. Let me log into my other account. And let's try it in my other account here. Okay, so here you go. Import. And yeah, so it did work here. So, all right, so we'll call this Burton's bail list. Save.
Host ended the meeting. The host ended the meeting.
So, huh? Hold on 1 second.
I really appreciate this today, Burton. Thank you so much for spending
Oh
this
yeah,
time with
absolutely. All right, you know what? There might be some back-end lag right now, but so what will happen is it's going to import your lists, and let me see if I can show you an idea. So it's going to import your lists, and then you'll get this report that says, hey, we've successfully connected your property, and we'll show you ones that didn't connect. So right now, I pardon the lag, it's not populating. So I'm just waiting for the addresses to show up right now. But what it's supposed to do is give you our data. And then from there, you're going to be able to see it actually here, because I just want to actually show you guys what it looks like. So I have to use the contingency issue right now. So I have a video here for you guys. So let me just show you really quick.
By the way, what an awesome resource you're showing us right now. If you want to know how to do PropStream, they got lots of tutorial videos there Burton's made.
Absolutely. So this video right here, because I'm lagging in my account. So what you saw me do was, let me make this bigger. We'll mute it. So here in this video, you're seeing me import the list like we just did. We're going to name that list or add it to another list. But once we import it, so I'm just scrolling forward, it's going to say your list is completed. And you'll even get an email, as you're seeing here, that shows you that your list has been completed. But once your list has been completed, what you'll then do is just click on it on the left-hand side right over here, like I am seeing. And now you have all of our data. As you can see all the addresses with the property characteristics, the owner's name, and etc. So the list automator is not just to take a list and automate it to save you marketing money, right? Remove things that no longer meet your criteria. It has that import feature. So if you have an old list that you want updated, or you grabbed a list from a different provider and you want to see our data on top of their data, that's what List Automator can do for you. It's essentially giving you our data so you can make better decisions at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't realize how, to me, important that is because you could have paid $500 to another source for data, but the fact that they don't have like equity data could be a big hindrance to you. So you paid $500 for a list of 500 properties, but if you don't have that equity data, you might be calling 100 properties that you can't even deal with to begin with. So to take that record and our record and put it together and say, okay, just pay for 500 records, but really only 400 of them qualify, that's saving you 100 postcards, 100 voicemails, 100 phone calls, etc. So that's the List Automator feature, automation, and the import part. Sorry if the import part was lagging a little bit today, but I appreciate you guys understanding.
Burton, it was incredible, man. No need to apologize. I appreciate everything that you shared with us. Today has been beyond my expectations. It was really, really incredible. The stuff we got into, I had no idea even existed. Thank you so much.
It just populated. So here, let me actually show you guys here.
Yeah.
So my bail list finally populated, and let's just do a quick side-by-side comparison. So again, my imported list, the post-bail list, this is what it looked like. So if I grab, let's say 1812 Hutchinson Drive, that's a side-by-side comparison. See, this is the Excel sheet I uploaded. This is my end result, my Burton's bail list. When I click on that property, this is why importing into our system is powerful. We go from just an address to just an address with characteristics, building owner information, like the owner doesn't live there. We can get mortgage and transaction history. So to me, that was the power of the List Automator, is not only automation to see what properties need to be added and removed to a list automatically, but to also import a list and get our data so you can qualify. You can say, oh yeah, this property has a lot of equity. Let's go ahead and give the homeowner a call. So that's the import feature. Sorry, it took a while to get to here, but as you can see, take a list on an Excel sheet, put it on our List Automator import feature, get our data, make better decisions, and call it a day.
What an awesome, awesome tool. If you don't have PropStream, you can try PropStream out for a 7-day free trial. There's a link wherever you're watching this video at today. You can just check the description, or just wherever, right there. There's a link, and you can click the link and go subscribe to PropStream. It's affordable for what it does. It's insane. Okay. And then, you'll get a 7-day free trial too. Burton Alicando, he stops by a couple times a year usually, and really, really just hits it out of the park for us. God, I mean, what an incredible brain this guy has.
Well, thank you so much.
And he's just so damn cool too. Like, like he is. If you're not following him on Facebook or whatever, you ought to. He's a cool dude. So any last thing you want to share with us, Burton? Anything? Can you tell us anything else, or maybe you want to, show us how to subscribe, or whatever you want to tell us, man? The floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you guys for investing your time. I know we spent a lot of time, I'm here for you guys. So I don't mind spending as much time to help you guys. But
Thank you.
as I always say, just be patient. I mean, you're dealing with homeowners in a financial situation, so be patient. Don't set unreasonable expectations that you can never meet. But be patient. Set some really achievable expectations, and have fun solving problems. I thank you. I'm honored to be here and to teach, because you guys are out there solving problems. You're doing what I'm envious of. I'd love to do what you guys are. I'm just so busy with the data stuff, but the fact that you guys every day are solving problems, thank you. So that's really it. Be patient, set some goals that you can reach, and just have fun while you're doing it, guys. So.
Be patient.
Real quickly, sorry. There's a Facebook PropStream group, right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw one.
Yeah, there's the PropStream stuff. Okay, that's officially PropStream in Burton, and then there's some other groups that are like wholesaling with PropStream that aren't related.
Correct. Yeah. So the group name is called PropStream User Community. That's our exclusive group. You'll get exclusive videos only for our community. We do giveaways in this group as well. So definitely follow it if you aren't already.
Yeah. Another thing too, before we go, be patient with yourself, y'all. Okay. Because it's a big platform. It does a lot of things. You're not going to master it in your first half hour. Be patient with yourself, and remember your negative self-talk while you're doing it. Okay. Because if you ever just record yourself while you're playing around with PropStream or some other platforms maybe that you have, it's just like, oh man, I'm too stupid to figure this out. And God, I'll never get this. What in the world? How does this work? I just can't do this. You're just really talking yourself out of it, guys. So clear off all that negativity and just be patient and lock in. You can use PropStream. He just showed us, just going to have to practice at it a little bit. Okay. And it's a powerful tool. Thank you so much, Burton. I really love you, dude. Thank you for being here. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you again, everybody. You guys have a great rest of the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Anything you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out. But thank
you.
Dude,
same thing, man. You ever need anything, man, and I mean anything, you just holler and I'm there for you. Okay.
You're the best, Justin. Take care, brother.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. Okay. Enjoy your weekend. All right.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.